Hello and welcome to LabGab, a talk show about the virtual world of Second Life. I'm your host, Strawberry Linden, and today on our show we are with Carol Benovic-Bradley, the Director of Community at Flickr. Welcome to the show, Carol.
Hi, thanks, Strawberry, and thank you everyone in the audience for having me.
I'm so happy to have you because I know there's a lot of stuff going on with Flickr and Second Life and as a whole our communities are so intertwined. And I have a lot of questions for you. But before we get into the questions, can you give us a brief introduction of yourself? Let us know what it is that you do at Flickr.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, my name is Carol, and I'm the director of the community team for Flickr.
Mm-hmm.
My team and I are here to help everyone on Flickr share the photography, connect with others who share their interests, and connect them with moments of inspiration. So, really finding and discovering the great photography on Flickr that inspires you. We also create a lot of content and experiences to help everyone get the most out of Flickr. So some folks might have seen our Flickr FAQ series. And we also conduct surveys and research to better understand our members' needs and interests and get feedback directly from Flickr members. And I know we're going to talk more about a recent example of that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
And we also help shape the product and our policies to make sure that Flickr is the safest and most inclusive photo community that it can be. And we consider that an ongoing area of extreme importance for our team and also for the whole organization. But if I was going to give you the short and sweet version, I
Yeah.
would say that me and my team have the really fun and amazing job of connecting with Flickr members, celebrating all of their amazing photographies and discussions on Flickr, and constantly learning about and advocating for their needs.
Awesome. Sounds like you guys do a lot. So let's get into the questions because I have a lot and I know we're short on time. So as you may know, there is a huge Second Life community on Flickr. And I look at Flickr as the OG photo sharing social network. And I feel like both the Flickr and Second Life communities, we grew up together because Second Life was established in 2003, Flickr was established in 2004. So our communities are really intertwined together. And many of our residents feel that it is an essential part of our virtual lives. At the same time, I think a lot of the people in our community have felt they weren't welcomed on Twitter, on Flickr, or just by they feel like Flickr's policies or the way they're treated on Flickr or the way they're treated by non-SLers on Flickr, comments and different things. So my first question is, how does Flickr view the Second Life community on its platform? And do you have any suggestions for us that we as a community can continue to grow and flourish and feel welcome there?
Yes, and thank you so much for asking this question. I
Yeah,
think it's probably the most important question we can address today.
yeah.
I've heard this same question directly from Second Life residents, but I want to say plainly that I can't imagine Flickr without the Second Life community. We view the Second Life community as an incredibly creative and connected community, both on and off of Flickr. Um, and as I mentioned earlier, we ran a survey this year specifically for Second Life community members on Flickr because we wanted to learn more about why Second Life members join Flickr, the work that they share here, and get feedback to help us make Flickr better for them.
Yeah.
And the response was massive. We got hundreds of responses, over 700.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was great. Like people were sharing the survey in their own communities. They were really responding to giving us this feedback that we wanted. And the biggest thing that we learned, I think, resonates with this question you're asking. The biggest feedback was that Second Life community members wanted validation that they're welcome and that they belong on Flickr.
For sure.
And yeah, I'm here to say exactly that. Yes, you are welcome and you're appreciated. And it takes action to show that as a community. And I know that we have some more questions that are going to get at how we're trying to do that. Um, but one example is that through the survey and by interacting directly with Second Life residents, we learned so much about the care and effort that this community puts into their photography and puts into the communities that they build.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than someone that uses a DSLR camera or a Polaroid or creates art in any other medium. And, you know, it's an honor that so many Second Life residents see Flickr as a place to connect with others and a place to share their work. We see the groups that you run, we see the tutorials that you create,
Yeah.
the amazingly detailed photo descriptions, the way you credit each other's work. I mean, y'all are expert community builders, and you know, again, it's an honor for y'all to be part of the Flickr community.
I have to
um,
agree, we really are.
and I also wanted to shout you out, Strawberry. It's been
Oh,
great to connect with you and other members of the Linden Labs team, and again, directly with Second Life residents to learn more about the community. As far as suggestions, my first suggestion to anyone joining Flickr or any community is to read and embody Flickr's community guidelines. Take the time to find your community on Flickr. Again, groups are a great tool to do so. And find the people who share content that inspires you. That's going to help you have the best possible Flickr experience. And then whatever you share, whether you're someone who shares your own work or you participate by faving or leaving thoughtful comments, know that everything you do has an impact on the community. A thoughtful comment or photo description goes a long way for everyone that comes across that photo or that story or that group. Yeah, and then I'll also say when you're reading the community guidelines, think about them in terms of your specific use of Flickr. For example, if you're sharing links in an image description to an online shopping cart, that would fall within Flickr's definition of commercial use, which would require pro membership.
right.
We know that, for example, many Second Life designers use Flickr and share their amazing creative creations and products that might be impacted by this policy. So it's good to be aware of it and upgrade to Pro if you'd like to use Flickr in this way. And then, I mean, generally speaking, and I hope that this will resonate with some folks in the audience, I personally like to think of community as a garden. Together, you know, we are the ones shaping it, watering it, nourishing it, planting the seeds, plucking out the occasional weeds. But by collectively maintaining it as a space, we can make something that we can all enjoy together. So that's the advice I would give. Tend to the garden, help it grow, and then we can all enjoy it for many years to come.
Right, and I love that idea, and I think a lot of the community does do a lot of this stuff, and I know a lot of the designers have moved to Pro just to make sure that their accounts are secure, and they don't lose their work and years of work on there. I know a lot of people have concern about safety levels and getting their stuff not like marked. I know there's like a Flickr bot, and you know if it's incorrectly marked or anything like that. Can we talk more about those safety levels? And maybe I can bring up my Flickr over here to while you're explaining it more. How do we differentiate between the three safety levels, and what is the ideal way to kind of change them or set them correctly? I'm just going to move over to my main desktop. So here we go. There's my Flickr. So let's talk about the safety. Actually, before we get into that, if you look in the description of the YouTube video, guys, there's a link to the safety levels and the commercial use policy if you want more details about that. So make sure you check that out. So I'm going to bring the safety level page over here, and then we can get into that. So let's talk about the safety levels. Can you explain those a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So a safety level is assigned to all content uploaded to Flickr, and it lets others viewing your content know what type of content to expect. If it's suitable for a wide audience or if it contains nudity, sexual content, or graphic imagery.
Right.
There are 3 safety levels on Flickr. Safe is the safety level for content that's generally acceptable for a public global audience.
Right.
Moderate is for content containing bare breasts or bottoms. And then restricted is for content containing full frontal nudity, sexual content, graphic content, and other adult themes. But the key aspect of the safe safety level is, again, that it's acceptable for a global public audience. So if you're posting any sexual content, you should definitely think about it as moderate or restricted and look at the definitions to see which one would apply.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So,
each, oh, sorry,
okay,
go
no, go
ahead.
ahead. Continue. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to add on that each Flickr member is responsible for setting the appropriate safety level for their content. And yeah, I'll stop there because I know you were also going to pop back over so we can show exactly how to set them.
Yeah, so let's just say for some reason this picture wasn't safe.
Right.
I have it set to safe, and then I realize, oh no, it shouldn't be safe. I can easily go down here and just change it to moderate or restricted,
Yep.
just by this area. So I saw a question come up in the YouTube chat that, again, it was marked. Their picture should be safe, but the Flickr bot marked it moderate or restricted. How would they go about getting that fixed? What's the right steps to get that fixed?
Great question.
Mm-hmm.
Bots are never 100% accurate and
Right.
never will be. So that it definitely does make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think it's made a mistake, you can go ahead and correct it. So you can go ahead and change it back to the correct safety level.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can move on. If this happens to you repeatedly, we would definitely want to hear from you. So you can write to our support heroes team.
Okay.
But actually, further on in our discussion, I was going to mention that we are thinking about how we can better monitor the bot's accuracy and improve that experience for everyone, because we've heard from a lot of folks who are impacted by these false negatives.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that it impacts not just the safety level of the one photo, but, if it's shared in any groups that have the setting that it must be safe, then that can impact that as well. So we're definitely thinking about how we can better monitor and enforce the bot's accuracy.
So if they continuously get the bot changing their levels incorrectly, they can reach out to the support heroes. And you guys, I have a link to that in the YouTube description as well. You can write to their support team and get assistance with that. So another thing I noticed is if it's a video, you only have the option for safe or moderate videos right here, right? I can't, so you don't allow a different level than that for videos. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. Videos can be safe or moderate, but videos with restricted content are not allowed on Flickr.
Okay, so that's another good thing to know. So another thing I want to kind of point out, because we get a lot of people submitting to our safe official Second Life Flickr group, and their pictures are not safe. When you're uploading a picture, I'm just going to quickly grab something on my drive here. Okay, so I'm uploading this picture. Down here in owner settings, you can actually set the level before you upload, right? So you can go into each whatever individual image you're uploading, and you can set it to moderate or restricted. And when you do that first, and then later you can go add to your groups, it won't even let you add to a safe group. That way you won't accidentally try to add, a moderate or restricted image to a safe group, because that's one of the biggest issues, and majority of my Flickr mail is filled with people yelling at me about being rejected from the Flickr group, and I apologize about that. I know it's heartbreaking to have your picture rejected, but I have to respond to higher ups, and we're trying to keep our our Flickr group as safe as possible for the general public. So we really need you guys to first set your safety level, if the picture should be moderate, and the rules are here. Although I have to admit that we are a little bit more strict in our group than even you guys are. But I'm glad you guys added this pasties in too, because we get a lot of those and they don't understand. But yeah, those are definitely moderate. And we also have get other things that the men wear that we don't accept as well. So I think our Flickr group may be a little bit more strict, but that's okay. So definitely set that first, and then you can go add to safe groups comfortably. Any advice that you have for this area when people are uploading? Anything that you've noticed that people forget to check or do?
Well, in your account settings, you can set the defaults for your uploads.
Right.
So yeah, it's just a good idea to routinely check these settings as you're sharing new photos on Flickr, and make sure they're accurately describing your content.
Mm-hmm.
We get that people make mistakes. We get that the bot makes mistakes. And our first goal is really to help people correct those mistakes and be informed about what our policies are. So if you hear from the bot or you hear from our team, know that we're trying to help, and we'll help you get the photo into compliance.
Okay, great. So the next question I have is about the recent announced changes that you guys are about to implement, or I'm not sure if it's in the process of being implemented on the platform. Can you tell us more about these changes that might require people to upgrade to a Flickr Pro account, and also when these changes will be implemented, and also why have you decided to go in this direction, if you can answer that? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So Flickr recently announced that in order to upload moderate or restricted content, you'll need to have a subscription to Flickr Pro.
Right.
The second part of this is that for free accounts, up to 50 of your 1,000 permitted photos can be non-public. And non-public means the photos marked as private, friends and or family.
Right. That's an important thing I think
Right.
to get across is the free accounts are still allowed to have 1,000 public photos.
Correct. Yes. So to upload more than 50 non-public photos within that 1,000, you'll need to subscribe to Flickr Pro. And the decision to place a limit on non-public, moderate, and restricted photos allows us to preserve and encourage the inspiring public photos that free members contribute to Flickr, while also freeing up resources to focus on making our pro community stronger than ever. And to address some questions we've heard about this, the first one you've already touched on. To be clear, a free account can still have up to 1,000 photos, but only up to 50 of them can be non-public. We've received that question from a few folks. The other question that we've received is around viewing this content. So free members can still view moderate and restricted content.
That's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've also gotten questions about, how members will know if they're impacted by this, or, what that process will look like. So if your account is impacted by these limits at any point, so not just now when we're first launching this, but later in the future, you'll get an email from Flickr about it. And again, our first goal is to help bring your account into compliance and make sure you're aware of the policies. Another thing that I want to call out here is please make sure your account email is up to date. I know that so many Flickr members have been with us for many years, which is awesome, but it also means that maybe you haven't checked the email associated with your account in a while. So if you do anything today, please go to your account settings, make sure that account is up to date, that email address is up to date, because that's also, for example, how my team reaches out if we want to feature you in our blog or talk to you about a survey, and again, how our other teams might reach out if you're impacted about these policies.
Although another thing I'd like to mention, I don't know if people realize, on their About page, they can add in social networks and so forth over here. So that way, people know what other networks you're on as well, and you guys also know if you do feature them, you can tag them in those other networks and so forth. So for sure, you guys double check what's going on with your accounts and so forth.
Yeah, and I know that these are significant changes, and we have obviously received lots of feedback from across the Flickr community and specifically from Second Life residents about these changes and how it will impact how they use Flickr. And we want to help with that transition. So if you are thinking about subscribing to Pro for the first time, we are really happy to offer a discount for new subscribers. So the code LABGAB, LABGAB 25 will provide folks with 25% off of the 2-year Flickr Pro membership. So if you're thinking about subscribing to Pro for the first time, definitely take advantage of that.
Okay, so if they sign up if they're a new member and they want to get Pro, if they sign up for 2 years, how much is let's see how much I'm gonna go. I think the 2-year subscription is $133. So if they sign up, they'll get 25% off, and it'll be $50 a year for 2 years for them, which is okay. That's not bad. But this is for people who haven't signed up yet and are thinking about doing it. That's great. Thank you. I appreciate the discount there for the community. What are some of the perks of going pro? Like, why should people go? What do you get from Flickr Pro?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you go to our website, we have a landing page that lists all of the great benefits of going pro. In addition to what we talked about today, being able to upload moderate and restricted content and being able to upload more than 50 non-public photos. Flickr Pro members also get access to advanced stats on your photos and videos, so folks can get a better understanding of how people are discovering their videos and see their photos and videos and see which ones the community loves most. You also get ad-free browsing on Flickr for both you and people who are visiting your photo stream. And then we also have great tools to help you upload your content to Flickr, our auto uploader tool. We also offer Premier product support. So Flickr Pro members receive priority assistance from our Support Heroes team. I can't talk enough about how amazing our Support Heroes team is. They're extremely knowledgeable on how Flickr works, what our policies are, and they're always there to help if you have any type of question. So please don't ever hesitate to write in. And then there are also additional perks that you get with it. So if you're interested in SmugMug, you can also receive a discount on a SmugMug subscription. And there's additional perks for our partners such as Blurb, Flurn, and Prime, which are all great tools to help your photos shine in other ways.
Okay. I know you mentioned earlier that you were doing segmentation research on the Second Life community, and how you emailed many members of the Second Life community with a long questionnaire, and you got this great response about how they use Flickr. So is there anything that you can, I know you mentioned that you found out that the community just wanted to feel validated on Flickr and feel like they were welcome there from a lot of those responses. Is there anything else you can share with us about that? Any other findings? How were those members selected that you reached out to? Is this research still ongoing? And were the changes that were currently announced as a result from that research? And will there be more changes made to the platform using that research that you're currently doing? Can you give us more information about that?
Yeah, let me talk more about that survey.
Okay.
So it was about in January 2022 when we conducted a survey specifically for Second Life residents on Flickr. And we had a few goals with that survey. We wanted to learn more about how and why Second Life residents use Flickr, what their goals are in terms of why they are part of the community, and how they would like to see Flickr improved to make their experience better. And to find the members to share that survey with, we did a search of Second Life groups on Flickr.
Okay.
And yeah, we used that to kind of build an audience for that because we know that lots of Second Life members use groups, and it was just a easy way for us to identify who was actually sharing content from Second Life on Flickr.
Okay.
Yeah, so over the years and directly through this survey, we received feedback about the categorization of Second Life photos on Flickr. For some years in the past, some Second Life residents remember that we encouraged them to categorize their work as screenshots.
Right.
Yeah. However, through the survey and through talking with Second Life residents, we learned about the great care and effort they put into producing their photos. And again, you've shared so many great tutorials and resources with me that have shown the great care that people put into becoming a Second Life photographer. And many indicated in the survey that a content type of virtual photography would be a more accurate descriptor than screenshot or photo. So that's actually one really exciting thing that we're focusing on, creating a virtual photography content type to help to help Second Life residents and other virtual photographers better categorize their amazingly creative works. And I'm really excited about that first step because this content type and the community's use of it can and will open up some really fun and exciting ways for Flickr to showcase the amazing virtual photography of the Second Life community. Through the survey, we also heard that people would like to see more thematic prompts and contests and their photography spotlighted more intentionally on Flickr. So having this way to more accurately describe the photography is the first step in that direction. So I'm like already envisioning the future. We don't have solid plans on this yet, but you can imagine once virtual photography is better categorized, that could make it easier for us to like have virtual photography on our trending page or to have a virtual photography specific explore. So
Okay, wait.
that's
I kind of want to show that for a second.
Yeah.
So you're saying I'm just gonna go back to my feed first, and if I'm uploading an image, let's try that again. And over here, when we go down here, there are content types here. So right now,
Right.
you guys had suggested Second Life residents to screenshot, but there's going to be a fourth content type called virtual photography. That's what
right.
you're telling me.
Mhm.
And then then we can move all of our images to that. And I think there's an easy way to like highlight all. I think we can do that in the uploader or something. But
In organizer, yeah.
an organizer, right? So we can pick that option, and then you said that you're going to have something on Explore for us up here.
Yeah, that's definitely future thinking. But I mean, one piece of feedback that we get, not just from Second Life residents, but from many different communities on Flickr, is like, we want Explore just for us. Like, we would like a virtual photography specific Explore, or
Right.
maybe a birders specific Explore. So, thinking about ways to better highlight the many amazing interests on Flickr is definitely something that's at top of mind for us. But yeah, I think with this virtual photography content type, it makes that easier for us in the future. And it also makes it easier for my team if we're doing things like curating galleries or doing an Explore takeover to find and celebrate the amazing virtual photography that the Second Life community is sharing.
So when do you have like a ballpark when we'll see that happening, the virtual photography content filter thing?
Stay tuned. No specific launch date yet, but when it's ready, we will definitely announce it loud and clear, and we'll make sure that you know as well, so you can let the second
We can work
community
together to let the community know. So hopefully we'll see that in the next coming months. I had a quick question about this trending tab. So when there's tags over here that are trending, so the ones are on the top are now and then this week, and then these are like the most popular. If all of the residents started hashtagging, and like when I say hashtag, I think a lot of us don't end up hashtagging our images. So like I did this early. I don't on my own personal. I do it on the Second Life one, but on my personal, I'm really bad. But if we add the tag Second Life or virtual photography, if all of us on in Second Life using those tags at least, we could end up in the trending without any restrictions on our accounts or anything. Like obviously, like our pictures could end up, like I remember one time I went into the black and white, and there's a Second Life image just because she used the black and white tag. So that's how it works, right?
Tags are a really great tool, and I have noticed that a lot of Second Life residents do use tags, and yeah, they are a great way to highlight the style of photography. So yeah, that example of black and white, or if there's a more blanket tag like virtual photography, like you mentioned, definitely use it so people can more easily discover your great work.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to add virtual photography as a new tag that I'm gonna use along with Second Life on Flickr. I was really bad with tags on my own personal account, but I have to, start keeping up with that more. So that's how people can end up on the trending page, and hopefully once the virtual photography tag comes in, we'll see more virtual photography on the Explore page as well. I'm really looking forward to that. Out of curiosity, sorry, did you want to say anything else?
Well, I just wanted to say that the biggest takeaway from the survey that we heard in some of the freeform responses was that people just wanted validation that Flickr respected them and that Flickr is a home for their work.
For sure. Yeah.
You mentioned this earlier, but some folks shared experiences they had with the moderation bot or concerns about some of our policies.
Yeah.
And of course, now we're getting feedback about these new account limits. And we're doing work in a lot of these areas. I mentioned this earlier, but after getting reports from our community members, both from Second Life community members and outside of it, our trust and safety team is reevaluating how we monitor and measure the accuracy of the moderation bot. So that's a direct result as from feedback of the community. We're also always revisiting our community guidelines and policy documentation to make sure that it's as clear as possible. And we've recently launched new policy documentation in our help center. So if our trust and safety team or support heroes team or anyone reaches out to you about your account, there's more documentation to help navigate that situation. And then lastly, I know that recognizing any community on Flickr takes ongoing work and conversation and trust building, and we're 100% committed to that with the Second Life community. And with that, yeah, we want to keep talking to community members. So we've been arranging one-on-one conversations with folks. So if anyone is interested in participating in that, they can send me a Flickr mail. And I also wanted to say thank you to the folks that have taken the time to speak with us already.
That's wonderful. And I have to say too, to make sure the community knows this, that you reached out to me over a year ago yourself. Or I think we had a conversation a couple of years ago when I had an issue with my account or with the Second Life account, and you helped me. And then, it was...
Then I wouldn't stop emailing you after
Then you were like, hey, can I feature the Second Life community? And I thought that was so great that you wanted to feature the Second Life community in different ways. I was like, yeah, of course, let me know what you need. And you featured, Halloween images, you featured Christmas winter images and
summer, so many
the summer houses and different things. And I really appreciate that. And you're sitting here in Second Life. You've made an avatar.
Thank you for helping me make this avatar and look great in Second Life. I appreciate that too.
No problem. That was fun shopping. But I appreciate the outreach and I appreciate that we're being seen and we're being heard, and you're continuing to ask people. So, for the residents that are watching, if you do want to give more feedback and share what you're feeling and even if you're upset, send it to Carol. If you look in the description of the YouTube chat, there's send Carol a Flickr mail with your comments. Give her the feedback, let her know what you're feeling, and you're also doing one-on-one interviews still, right? You said you still want to speak to the community and
yes,
with the research that you were doing.
Absolutely. And now that I am set up in Second Life, we can have that conversation in Second Life or over Zoom or any virtual setting that works best. But yeah, we would love to keep having those one-on-one conversations. And if you have any questions about navigating these changes or just general questions about using Flickr, I would say, write to our support heroes team because they will answer fast and accurately. Sure. But yes, folks can absolutely also always reach out to me.
Sorry, I put you on the spot there.
No, it's totally
no,
fine. Just want to set expectations about.
It's great if you have feedback to give it to Carol. But of course, if there's something account related, you definitely do want to reach out to the support team. There was one question that I noticed that somebody had asked about payment options, and right now you only accept credit cards, and they were asking if you were going to accept other payment options, and that's another excellent question to send to their support team. But do you have an answer for us since I have you here?
Yeah, right now credit cards are the main payment option. There's also the option to pay with Google Pay and Apple Pay if those work for you. But we're not developing new payment methods right now, but that's absolutely good feedback for us to know that folks want more payment methods too.
Yeah, they need more payment methods. So out of curiosity, I hope I can keep you. I know I promised we would finish by 10:30. But
that's fine.
I just have one more question or a couple more questions. Out of curiosity, can you tell us more about some of the other communities on Flickr and how they use the platform? Is it different from us? Do they have the same rules? Do they also have to go pro if they want to share nude images? And what can we learn from how they interact and so forth?
Yes,
Yeah.
another great question. And yes, all Flickr members have to follow the same community guidelines and
Yeah.
same terms of use. So everyone's following the same rules on Flickr. That's what helps us make it a safe and inclusive community for everyone because everyone is agreeing to the same standard.
Hmm.
Um, and Flickr is often described as a community of communities. I think that's part of what makes it so amazing for every interest or anything you're taking a photo of, there are other people on Flickr who care about that same thing. So there are train spotters, bird photographers, underwater photographers, uh, people using drones and instant cameras, in-game photographers, communities for historically marginalized photographers, communities for people who are looking for feedback and trying to improve their photography. The other day, someone commented on one of my own photos and said they like photographing signs, which is what I am usually sharing on Flickr, photos of signs that I see.
Hmm.
So there are so many incredible communities on Flickr, and even from Second Life residents that I've spoken to who also um, practice other styles of photography, they've shared that as well, how they're part of multiple communities on Flickr, which is really awesome.
Oh, that's
Um,
good. They're intermingling.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, and groups are the main tool that people on Flickr use to bring together communities and their interests and what they're photographing. And I would say that these groups and communities work best when they maintain open communication. So they're clear about what the group is for, which, I mean, you even mentioned that earlier with the Second Life official group, making
Yeah.
sure that the rules and what is going on in the group is really clear.
Yeah.
Um, but then they're also committed to maintaining open discussion. So they're willing to discuss and evolve those definitions of the community and what's permitted over time. There's also an amazing community of group admins on Flickr. And again, I know that so many Second Life residents are great group administrators.
For
And
sure.
they,
Yeah.
yeah, they work really hard to create great groups and great experiences on Flickr by hosting conversations, suggesting different prompts, inspiring their group members. Some folks even have in-person meetups, all of these amazing things. So it's not just the folks who work at Flickr who uphold these guidelines, but it's each and every community member's responsibility. So we want to thank the community members who are part of that, and big shout out to all the group admins out there. Um, so yeah, on that note, groups and communities that understand and uphold Flickr's community guidelines, and every individual member that does that really helps to create a space where people can freely share and connect around their interests. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's how all communities can thrive on Flickr.
Excellent. So another thing I kind of want to end with this. What can the Second Life community I know you already mentioned the virtual photography content filter that's coming up. What can we expect from Flickr in the future? Is there a better way that we can work together? And also a question came up about the mobile app. What's the future of the mobile app that you have for Flickr, and will it have more functionality like, moderating groups and so forth? Because I would really love that as well, moderating the Flickr group.
Mm.
Is there any information you can give about that, and anything else about the future? And I promise this is my last question. Kept you so long. Go ahead.
No, I have loved all of the questions, and thank you for the folks in the audience asking questions as well. They're great.
Yeah.
So yes, I hope that everyone is excited about the news of the virtual photography content type. So please stay tuned on that. And
Hmm.
again, we'll definitely announce it widely when it's available. And if you're not already, I would say join the Second Life official group on Flickr because
Yes.
yeah.
I second that. Join the official group.
Because as you've mentioned, we have collaborated quite a few times now, and you do such a great job of sharing those initiatives within the group. So it's a great way, I think, to be informed of ways that we're working together to spotlight the amazing work that Second Life residents are sharing on Flickr. And then again, we always want the community to know that we're working on improving how we communicate and uphold the Flickr's community guidelines and policies. So if you ever have a question or if something seems unclear, write to our support heroes team. I know I've said that 500 times.
No, it's good
But
to know. If you
yeah,
if you find something broken, something's not working, write to the support team. That's the best
yeah,
way to do it. Yeah.
constructive feedback is always helpful for us, and it's going to make us improve the experience, not just for that one person writing in, but for 10 other people who have the same feedback or question that don't. So please do that. And another thing to look forward to is, again, this discount that we've shared today. So again, the code LabGab25 is valid for 25% off of a 2-year subscription for Flickr Pro. So look at the Flickr Pro offering, look at how you use Flickr, chat with your other Second Life residents about how they use it, and see if that is something that you would like to take advantage of. And then, yeah, many more, I think, prompts. We're thinking about contests for the community, how we can continue thoughtfully spotlighting Second Life residents. So more great
Yes.
things to come.
Actually, one more question that came in. Will you
Yeah.
thinking about spotlighting the machinima artists on Flickr that share their videos? Because there's some amazing machinima on Flickr.
Yes, you've actually, I think you shared
Yes.
some examples of that with me. So
Yeah.
yes, again, my team's job is to spotlight all of the creative ways that people are using Flickr and the amazing, inspiring work that y'all are sharing. So our team is also always open to feedback, and that is a great point that we could do more to spotlight that as well. We've never done that, so we would be excited to.
Awesome. Let's work together to do that. Okay, thank you so much, Carol. I know I kept you over time, and I appreciate there's so many questions coming up that I thought were important to bring up. And I really want to thank you for making an avatar, coming into this world to talk to us, to kind of alleviate some of the worries and concerns we have. And again, if people do have more suggestions and feedback and want to participate in the research that Flickr is doing on the Second Life community, reach out to Carol via Flickr mail. The link is in the YouTube description. And if you have trouble with your account or the Flickr bots or anything like that, reach out to their support heroes. And I have that link to that as well. Anything else you want to add in the end, Carol, to our viewers that are watching?
Yeah, I will just reiterate that a thoughtful community takes ongoing thoughtful work. So I hope this isn't the last time I'll be on LabGab. And again,
I'd love to have you back. That would be great.
I think I just invited myself back.
Sweet.
I hope that's okay.
Anytime. Yeah.
Awesome. And then, yes, please look and share more ideas for how you would like to see us thoughtfully sharing the amazing work that you all share. And we'll see you on Flickr and hopefully in Second Life.
Okay, well, thank you again, Carol. Thank you to the viewers for watching. Remember to keep an eye on our Second Life community blogs for more information about LabGab, and to stay safe and stay virtual. Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye.